All right, guys. So for this lesson, we're going to talk about two rules for derivatives. First one's called the product rule. Okay. Product rule is when you have a function, okay, that has a function that is a multiplication of two other functions, okay? So this is called the product rule. See, this function is multiplication of these two. So the derivative of this is going to be derivative first times the second plus derivative second times the first. All right, so let's do some examples here. Okay, so let's see. We have this. So, for example, we have 5x squared plus 6x minus 2, and then it's going to be multiplied with 4x to the fifth minus 8x cubed plus 7x. Now, you see how this function f is the multiplication of these two, okay? So think about them as separate. Think of this as g, this is g of x, and think of this as h of x, okay? Option one is you can FOIL this and be kind of tedious, okay? But if you just if you think about them as separate, okay? Think about this as g of x. Now, if this is g of x, what is g prime, right? What is the derivative of this guy? Derivative of this guy, okay? Remember the power rule. Derivative of 5x squared is 10x. Derivative of 6x is 6. Derivative of negative minus 2 is 0. Okay, so h prime, h prime of x. So here's h. So again, look at this separately. Here's h. Here's h. We want to know what's the derivative of this guy. Okay, derivative of 4x to the fifth is 20 x to the fourth minus 24x squared plus 7. Okay, right? Here's the original. Here's its derivative. Here's the original g. Here's the derivative of g. So following the product rule, we just got to put things in the right place. Okay, so derivative of f is derivative first, right there, derivative first, 10x plus 6 times the second original, which is h only, leave it alone, okay? We're going to put h in here. So that's going to be 4x to the fifth minus 8x cubed plus 7x, okay? And then we're going to add derivative h. Derivative h is right here. 20x to the fourth minus 24x squared plus 7 times g. Okay, g is right there. So this can be 5x squared plus 6x minus 2. That's it. Okay, so this is your final answer for derivative f. Derivative first. This is g prime, h prime, and g. Okay, so just following the formula, this is what we have. This is your answer. You can do things to simplify it, but it's not a must. You know, you want to, you can distribute, multiply these two, and combine like terms. But for now, this is it. We're done. Okay. All right. Second example. This is going to be a little tougher, okay? Because we're going to have a product rule that has chain rule in it. So f of x equals 4x cubed minus 5x squared plus 7x plus 8, all of this to the 9th power. We're going to times this with x to the 4th plus 3x squared minus 7, and this is to the 5th power. Okay, so notice function. This function is a multiplication of two separate functions. So think about this guy as g, right? Think of this guy as h. Okay, so ignore everything else. focus on just g alone, okay? Ignore this guy. Focus on just this. What is the derivative of g? G is a power. There's a power here, so we gotta use the chain rule. So the chain rule says 9, 4x cubed minus 5x squared plus 7x plus 8 to the 9 minus 1, so 8. Remember, we gotta multiply inside here. If you remember chain rule, gotta go inside. Derivative of this is 12x squared minus 10x plus 7. Right? Derivative of 4x cubed is 12x squared. Derivative of minus 5x squared is minus 10x. Derivative of 7x is 7. Derivative of 8 is 0. So this is g prime. Okay, so h prime, check this out. Here it is. Here's h. H is x to the 4th minus 3x squared minus 7, or plus 3x squared minus 7 to the 5th. So see how it has a power here? So now we're going to have to recall the chain rule. Chain rule says bring the 5 in front. X to the 4th plus 3x squared minus 7 to the 4th power. Now we go inside. What's the derivative right here? 4x cubed plus 6x. Derivative of minus 7 is 0. So that's it. So here's g prime, here's h prime. Here's g, here's h. So following our formula, we just gotta put those in the right place. So it's gonna look kind of lengthy, okay? But this is gonna be your answer. So 9, g prime, 9, 4x cubed minus 5x squared plus 7x plus 8 to the 8th power, 12x squared minus 10x plus 7, okay, times, right? Here's g prime. Now, g prime, you got to times h. So h is this guy. So times x to the 4th plus 3x squared minus 7 to the 5th. Okay, so g prime, h, plus, big plus sign here. Big plus sign. Okay, h prime, g. So h prime is going to be 5 x to the 4th plus 3x squared minus 7 to the 4th power. 4x cubed plus 6 times g, right? We won't put g at the end here. So g is going to be 4x cubed minus 5x squared plus 7x plus 8 to the 9th power. Okay, so this is your final answer right there. Looks confusing, but all of this is your answer for the derivative. Okay, from here down. All right, kind of lengthy. All right, so hopefully you understand the product rule. Try some on your own. Okay, let's do quotient rule. Okay, quotient rule next. All right, so if you remember quotient rule is when you have a quotient, right? G of x over h of x. So here's a division, okay? So the derivative f prime of x is derivative top times the bottom minus derivative bottom times the top over the bottom squared. Okay, derivative top times the bottom minus derivative bottom times the top over the bottom squared. Okay, so let's do some examples. So we'll do some easy ones first. Okay, so here we go. 5x squared plus 6x minus 2. And then we have 4x to the 5th minus 8x cubed plus 7x. Okay, so think about this guy as g of x. Think of this guy as h of x. Okay, so now if this is g, what is g prime? What's the derivative of just the numerator? That's going to be 10x plus 6, right? Right? 10x plus 6. Derivative of the denominator. Just focus on the bottom only. What's the derivative of the bottom only? That's going to be 20x to the fourth minus 24x squared plus 7, okay? Again, this is using the power rule, okay? When you have a power, basically. All right, so now following the formula here, we just got to put things in the right place. So f prime of x, derivative top, times the bottom, the whole thing, the denominator, 4x to the fifth minus 8x cubed plus 7x minus derivative bottom times the top. So derivative bottom is right here, 20x to the fourth minus 24x squared plus 7 times the top. Okay, top, leave the top alone. 5x squared plus 6x minus 2. I ran out of room, sorry about that. So derivative top times the bottom minus derivative bottom times the top. All over the bottom squared. So the whole thing would be 4x squared, 4x to the fifth minus 8x cubed plus 7x squared. Again, this is your answer. You're done. Okay, you can do things to simplify and such, but not necessary at the moment. Okay, we can distribute here. We can square that. Unnecessary. Okay, but this is called the quotient rule. And that's all that is. Okay, so here we go. Big fancier problem. Okay, so here we go. We have 4x cubed minus 5x squared plus 7x plus 8, all of this to the 9th power over x to the 4th plus 3x squared minus 7, all of this to the 5th power. Okay, definitely quotient rule here. So think about this as G, think about this as H. Okay, this is G, this is H. Now you got to do separately. Think about, write this down. What is G prime only? Okay, ignore everything else. Ignore the bottom, ignore the denominator. Just focus on the top. Now, if you notice, if I want to take derivative of the top is a chain rule. So 9, 4x cubed minus 5x squared plus 7x plus 8, 8th power, right? 9 minus 1. And then remember, I got to go inside. Go inside. What's the derivative inside here? 12x squared minus 10x plus 7. Derivative of 8 is 0. Okay, so we're done with that. H prime. Derivative of the bottom only, right? So again, it's a chain. We bring the 5 in front. 3x squared minus 7. The 5 was a 5, becomes a 4 now. Now we take derivative inside. What's the derivative of x to the 4th? 4x cubed. What's the derivative of 3x squared? 6x. What's the derivative of negative 7? 0. So here's G prime and here's H prime. Okay? Here's G, here's H. Now we got to use that formula and just follow the formula. Okay? So following the formula, the derivative of f is going to be a big problem. Okay? Derivative top is 9. 4x cubed minus 5x squared plus 7x plus 8 to the 8th power. 12x squared minus 10x plus 7. Okay, here's derivative of top times the bottom. Okay? X to the 4th plus 3x squared minus 7 to the 5th. Derivative of top times the bottom. Minus, big minus sign, like that. Okay, minus. Derivative bottom. 5 x to the 4th plus 3x squared minus 7 to the 4th. 4x cubed plus 6x. This is all derivative bottom. And we're going to multiply this with the numerator, the top. 4x cubed minus 5x squared plus 7x plus 8 to the 9th power. And then the whole thing here, this whole thing will be divided by this whole thing. It's going to be divided by squaring the bottom. Okay, squaring the bottom. The bottom is x to the 4 plus 3x squared minus 7. It was a 5, but when you square, the square becomes a 10, right? You square the bottom. The 5th power becomes a 10 because when you square, you double the power. Okay, so here's your final answer for the derivative. Okay, so hopefully you understand that. Try it on your own.